There's no one
You
here.
can-
It's just me and SJ.
But
Everyone's gone. I don't know where everyone's gone. Jamie's having issues in Qatar. Not like visa
James got
issues.
parents' evening, I think.
Legitimately, this is how professional we are. He's got parents' evening. Where's Cam? Cam is taking someone to A&E. That's it. Um, but we're here. So get this. Show's going to be nice and professional. We're not going to talk about me being in a hot tub or
No hot tubs this week.
no hot tub talk this week. I don't want it. If you want, you'll get blocked. Sport Tank doesn't do that. Hey,
Who? What?
who? Sport Tank doesn't block people. There's never ever been any case of it. But obviously, it is week. Well, it's week 5 now. Was week 4, and once again, this Uniball season is shaped up to be
We've
mental.
mudded the picks again, haven't we?
Picks are in the dirt. I've got, it's apology central for me as my Lancaster Bombers, which I guess I'm now claiming the Lancaster Bombers. They lost. They got shut out by Edge Hill, and I've already apologised to Edge Hill. So,
What did they say?
What did they say?
Don't ever come here.
Don't come here. You're an idiot. We don't like you. And yes, we will get into OBU. And, actually, I'm going to get into it right now. We've got message loads, yeah? Div 2, 5 minutes at the end only. No. No, but thank you. Thank you. Where is everyone? Oh, I've already said. Is someone else here? Oh, good Lord, no. No.
Oh,
No.
dear.
Oh, God, I thought we were going to have a nice show. Here we go. Here's Jamie. Absolutely.
I'll put your parents' evening.
I was sat writing up my parents' notes, and I was listening to the stream, and I heard someone say this show will be nice and professional. So I felt like I just needed to drop in. I'm not staying long, but the Sharks are going to absolutely maul the Coventry Uni Jets.
So they're
Is
not,
that your
mate.
take for the week?
They're
I think
not.
that's what we just need to do a segment that it's just Jamie and his one-liners, just 5 minutes of Jamie just spitting them out.
Honestly, Jamie, mate, I'm gonna give you your time because it is one of the games I want to preview, but I wish you were there for it. So I imagine you can preview it now before we review some of our games. Go on, then.
I'm going to put it out there: a 3-0 win.
Yeah, well, that's not too bad of a prediction, to be completely honest.
There we go.
But how disappointed are you going to be when the Jets do beat the Sharks?
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, but
I think it will.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. How long are you staying for? Can I get into this? Can I get into the show?
You've got me for about 10 minutes.
Okay,
Look
that's
at
fine.
what's IAB said next. Petition to let players on the show.
Let players on the show talk shit before. Yeah, I mean, you can do it in the comments, and we'll pull them up. I mean, I wish that I could share with you the Instagram comments, but I can't.
We had quite a few last week, didn't we? That said some stuff, and it seems to have backfired this week. I'm in a good mood. I don't know about you.
Yes, I'm imagine you are in a good mood. We will have a small Q&A session, but later on in the show, because that segment was awful last week. So we're going to get through some of the scores that happened this week. I'm going to run them down. Starting off in the National Prem, the Nottingham Gold beat the Leeds Beckett Carnegie 84-0. Have that, Jamie. You said they wouldn't be able to run it up. They did. Gold are my number one squad for a reason.
Did I say that?
You did, yeah. You gave me grief because I wanted to put Gold at number 1, and you said, no, they wouldn't put on a big score against Beckett. No, here we are, Nottingham Gold.
If a team was to run QB sneak against Carnegie for the entire game, how many touchdowns would they score?
3.
In each quarter or the whole game?
Well, it depends when running clock starts. If they start with running clock, we don't know. So Durham Saints beat the Loughborough 30-20. Warwick Wolves beat Newcastle 21-6. Leeds Griffins beat Liverpool 34-6. Exeter fall to the SGS Pride. I've got that the wrong way around on the thing. 42-0. Back to some SGS scores of old. Birmingham managed to beat Cardiff in the return fixture. No boat race jokes, please, gentlemen.
We made a mistake.
Oh, we did make a mistake. We made a lot of mistakes this week. Mainly having Jamie on the show is the main one.
You say that like I didn't win the predictions this week. Just saying.
Yeah, you did. That is fair. The Scottish one has basically exploded. No one knows what's going on there. Absolute shambles. We've not been paying attention to it.
No one knows. No one cares. Like Scotland.
Edinburgh Napier beat Stirling 34-12. Glasgow beat Aberdeen, par for the course. But Heriot Watt beat Edinburgh. What? I wanted Dylan on the show. He's not here. Little snake. The Nottingham Green beat Sheffield Hallam Warriors 22-13. Yes, not when I do my rankings. Yes, Nottingham Green will feature highly because they're basically going to win the Midlands one now. Coventry only lose to Leicester by 3 there, Jamie.
There was a 4-letter word in there that was really important.
Yes, there was. Brunel beat Hearts, pretty boring. 28-14. The Lancers beat the Knights 42-2. Bournemouth beat Bath Killer Bees 23-2. I struggled with that on the day. KCL shut out the Emperors in their first game of the season. And strange enough, Kent beat Essex 27-0 as well. Strange. In Div 2, the Sheffield Sabres get a donut burger. Lancaster fall to Edge Hill. I wanted to cry. ARU fall to Derby. I think it's in the third quarter. OBU do nothing and had a nice time, and everyone was really polite, and no one had a go at anyone.
I don't know why I didn't predict that. Genuinely, when we did them, I didn't say it because everyone said that they'd lose, and I don't know why, because I've never been scared. I've never been scared to go against the grain, and I don't know why, but
Why are you trying to make yourself out to be the superhero in the situation? I said this to an OB player who spoke to me. I went, yeah, last week I did think Royal Holloway would win because neither team had played.
Based on last year, you'd back them.
I'm not gonna lie. I just went with what I usually do with the Div 2 in the South, in that because I don't care, I just usually go with what everyone says. But when we did it, I just thought that's not going to happen. But I didn't want to say anything because I don't know anything about the Div 2 or the South for me to go down swinging about it.
I think the thing is with when we make these picks is that everyone will know that we're all for fun and games. It's all a laugh, but it's pretty embarrassing when you've got a head coach in the comments saying, "Learn ball." You're a head coach, man. I mean, they probably didn't teach you that in your level 2, but who knows.
So the Imperial Immortals and the City Wolfpack go to a 0-0 draw after there was an injury. The Kingston Cougars continue their Huey Bullets-like streak of not being scored upon 22-0, and the Sussex Saxons beat the Solent Redhawks 41.
I'm on the Kingston train now. Choo-choo.
Yeah, you're a bit late. Got there first.
Sorry.
But the problem is they've got a DC who we can't talk about anymore. Such a shame. Such a shame. Friend of the show. Well, not anymore. So there we go. That was the results. We're going to get into them. We might as well start because I know you're all asking for it. OBU versus Holloway. OBU come out very, very well. 35-0 against Holloway, who've just been relegated. I tell you what, I am surprised. But
I will apologise though. I'm sorry for getting that horrifically wrong.
Yeah, the thing is,
I stand by what I said.
That's SJ. Remember that, not me. But yeah, I'm surprised. Like OBU have been a team that's been up and down, and I think putting on this big of a score against a team that has just been relegated, especially one like Holloway that didn't have a season last year where they completely shat the bed, for lack of a better term. I think that's very, very decent for OBU. I still think Surrey are the teams.
It's between those two.
I think so.
It's so early still. That's the thing with Division 2 is it takes a lot longer to actually paint a picture.
It's like OBU's first game. Like they have got the rest of the field to play against now. But again, it's a great opening start. It's sort of the same. I sort of can group OBU and Kingston together, which is strange when you consider the person that we can't discuss went to OBU and now DC's for Kingston. In that I had them doing fairly well, but I didn't have them coming out and basically shutting teams out, putting up big scores. So pretty decent for them, I'd say. Moving on to Brunel versus Hearts. Obviously, this is one that we can talk about slightly, and we are very happy to say that we are going to be at Brunel versus Oxford this week. But Brunel take that first step in really claiming dominance in, I think, not just the Southern One, but in Div 1 South altogether, considering just how strong that Southern One bracket is. You know, obviously, it's going to be very, very hard to dispute Brunel if they manage to knock off Oxford this week as well. You got anything to say for me, SJ?
I mean, they were missing a couple starters. They were missing the QB1. It makes a massive difference. But I'm not gonna sit here and say that we weren't missing. We were missing 5 starters. So I think at the end of the day, it came down to just depth. It's a close game up until the fourth quarter, and that was when the depth came in. We're bringing on guys that are still fresh, and they're down to the absolute bare bones by that point. So they're a good team. Don't get me wrong, they are a good team, but we just outlasted them more than anything.
Again, it's I think we've obviously spoke about last week Nottingham Gold having Uwe and then Durham back to back. I think in terms of back to back fixtures that are pretty strenuous, I think Brunel facing Hearts and then Oxford, it's up there with 2 of the hardest game stretches.
On the same pitch, on our same pitch twice in 2 weeks. It's a horrible, horrible pitch.
I can't wait to go. I cannot wait to go to Brunel, down to Uxbridge. So we're going to move on to the Scottish one now, because realistically, as much as Jamie says no one cares, Scottish one's looking pretty good. It's a bit sneaky in there after the sort of chaos that was last year. Edinburgh Napier came into this year looking pretty decent. I would have pegged them for a playoff spot, but the two sort of the divisional winning favourites falling this week to Napier and Heriot Watt. Again, it feels like almost yesterday that both those teams were in D2 and now they're knocking off Stirling and Edinburgh. I think it's very, very impressive, and it'd be interesting to see where the Scottish one goes from here, because there's now no out-and-out favourite to win it in week 4 or week 5 or whatever you want to call this. I cannot believe. I tried to get Dylan on because I want to know how does Heriot Watt beat Edinburgh. I can't understand it, but he's being a bit cagey with it. So check him for PEDs. That's all I'm saying. Moving on to the game that happened on Saturday, not Explosion, just a regular game. Just a regular game. Brum beat Cardiff 27-6.
Do you know what? Fair play to Brum. They've turned around. They've heard all the noise and gone, nah.
That's exactly what happened. It seemed too good to be true for Cardiff, and it was. Only scoring in the fourth quarter. I think it's going to make these Cardiff versus Exeter games pretty interesting. We do have Brum versus Exeter happening next week, which I think could be an interesting one, because obviously I did Exeter versus SGS yesterday. Despite the scoreline 42-0 to the Pride, Exeter did have there was something there for Exeter. The run game is still there in part. If you can get it through the SGS line, you might very easily get it through some of the other lines in the Premiership South.
So who is the second best team in the South? I don't think there's a clear cut. I think Portsmouth, you could say Portsmouth, but still don't think there's a clear cut.
You know what? I am going to say it. It's Portsmouth. I'm going to say it's Portsmouth.
They've come a long way from 2 years ago.
They have. I will say that the other game that is being live streamed this week is going to be Portsmouth versus Cardiff at Portsmouth. So that's another pretty decent one. I would say I won't call that one, but we'll get into that. I would probably lean more towards Portsmouth, but still, I've got time to think about it. Moving on to Div 2, this one is going to be one I may even, if the gentleman will completely oblige with me for 1 second, I'm going to take this space. At the start of this season, I made a very bold prediction, the boldest prediction that I've done, and that was that the Lancaster Bombers were just going to have the Northwestern 2. And I felt that, and I rode with it, and I was happy with it. Their game with Kiel, only 18 points. I started to get a little bit worried, and we got into the Edgehill Vikings game. It was looking pretty close. It was 0-0 going into the third, if I remember correctly. Edgehill beat him 10-0. I don't know what to say. I've apologised to Edgehill profusely. That depressed me so much that I'm still feeling the ramifications of these awful picks that I've made. And I apologise to everyone who's ever watched this show. Okay, we're going to get back in. Let's just take that one out. Take that one out. So, moving on to the Midlands and Yorkshire one. Nottingham Green beat the Sheffield Hallam Warriors. And that's really funny. That's really funny. Alex turned on Instagram saying, "You take up a lot of space, Tebs." No, I do. You're right. Got a fat head, and I got a fat everything else as well. Green beating Sheffield Hallam. I think it's going to be pretty hard to dispute the Nottingham Green as the top dogs in the Midlands and Yorkshire one. Now they've sort of beaten all of the contenders. Again, I did have them finishing in a playoff spot this year, but looks like the division is theirs as it stands right now. Anyone got anything else for Notts Green?
I just find it insulting that you're counting the Sharks out after one performance.
Grow up, mate.
You'll see this weekend.
Has there ever been a season where two promoted teams have finished top in Division 1 the following year? I don't think I can't remember a season where two have. I think I can. Has anyone topped it straight after coming up?
Bournemouth.
They topped
not
it?
last year, the year before. Yeah, they won the
Div,
Div,
didn't they? Yeah, they did. Yeah, but I don't think two have in the same season.
No, I don't think two have because it's going to be like in the north. The north is going to be won by UClan or Northumbria. Let's be honest. And obviously Scotland doesn't have any promotional relegation because that's boring.
Staffs versus Kiel.
And then lastly,
by the way, we all picked.
What about them?
I don't know. So I said, guess Staffs versus Kiel didn't happen.
No, it did happen. It's just not in there because it was lost. No, Staffs beat him. I actually don't know the score of that one. What is the score on that one? I know Staffs won because I'm going to talk about Staffs versus Lancaster in a bit, but I don't know what the score is. Again, don't reschedule games. Simple as that. Just let them be. But yeah, so Cov versus Leicester. Coventry are once again looking fairly decent in losses. Only falling to 3 to the Leicester Longhorns. I think it's going to be an interesting one this weekend, and we are going to get into it. But before we get into our previews, it's very, very early. 27-7. Thank you, guys. 27-7. Yeah. I tell you what. Actually, I'll give Staffordshire their credit here. You know, they came down after being in the Midlands, and being promoted. Didn't do too well. You know, being under Coventry, but you know, I'm happy for them that it's taken them a few years, but they've got themselves back into a decent position. And I think Staffs versus Lancaster, you know, obviously I thought it was going to go one way a few weeks ago, but it turns out that Staffordshire are probably the favourites in this game. And hey, if you can get promoted again, fair enough to you. It's a team that has definitely evolved, definitely evolved over the last few. So yeah, Leicester. Coventry doing well. But we're going to move on to, it's week 5 now. The season's basically over with. Let's be honest.
Start making predictions now. Then
start making predictions now. We're not going to be. We spend too long focusing on who's going to win their division, who's getting promoted, who's winning. Yes, Robert, you can in a little bit. Who's getting relegated as it stands right now? In the South, Eastern 1. Essex Blades.
Finally time.
Essex have been, circling the drain slightly for a few years, especially after they had the same curse that afflicted the Imperial Immortals. They won the Div, and now it's not looking too good for them. And especially with KCL and putting on a dominating performance against UCL, and UCL still managing to beat UCL still managing to beat Essex. It's not looking good for the Blades. It's not looking good for the Blades because realistically,
is that a division you could kind of predict 1 to 5 already? I don't think it's a lot because anything can be thrown out, but I think you can get close to it.
I think just because KCL's only played the one game, probably not, and just how close UEA versus Kent was the first time round.
I forgot they've only played once.
It's like obviously as it's going to be Kent, UEA, KCL, but like that scoreline against UCL, KCL, they could be a contender here that we haven't we've overlooked just because of how late they've started. But I think it is Essex just don't figure into that top 4 part at all. Is Swansea or Bath getting relegated? I get it's too early to call because.
Can we go up the ladder? Let's go up to the top.
Who's to the Prem?
Down? Yeah, if we go to
what
Prem.
You want national? National?
National, I think it's clear cut. Unfortunately, it's pretty
I think they've already been relegated.
Yeah. So national is Beckett, but obviously they've still got. It's not as clear cut as they just go down. They've got a relegation battle happening with the winner of the Premiership. So, if we were saying now, probably either SGS or Leeds. If you're looking at National Prem, Northern Prem,
it's Liverpool Raptors.
It's Liverpool Raptors. They should never have been in there in the first place.
You said it, not me.
No,
you said it, not
me. I said it at the beginning of the year.
No,
I said it at the end of last year.
No.
It's an insult.
No, it's if they were asked, of course they were going to say yes.
Bournemouth didn't. UEA didn't.
Yeah, I don't know. If my team was asked, would you want to join the Prem? Yeah, I do.
I don't have an issue. I don't have an issue with them being like 6th choice and them being the first team to say yes. I have an issue with them acting like they deserve to be there.
Okay, fine.
Jamie's got the issue.
That's fine.
Not me.
Okay, that's fine.
I was always a firm believer in them.
The southern Prem. I've got the foggiest because like Birmingham now beating. If Cardiff beat Birmingham again, you could say it's Birmingham, but because Birmingham beat Cardiff, don't really know. As it stands right now, I imagine it's probably Exeter sitting at 0-2.
Yes, that would be a shame though. They've worked so hard to get up.
Yeah. I can't see Exeter going straight back down, but it's looking fairly. It's looking like it at the minute, but there's still games to play. So like I'm not willing to completely write off the Demons as of yet, especially after what I saw yesterday. It's not a bad squad. So obviously Scottish won, no relegation. I was about to say they're just having a great time. So in the Northern one, it looks like as it stands because of the win MMU had over LJMU. Right now it's Liverpool John Moores, and that would be a surprise. They were a decent squad 2 years ago. Didn't have a great time last year, but right now it's looking like a double Liverpool relegation.
Who's left in there?
Are you having a look?
I mean, Manchester aren't really. But again, they played Northumbria and UCLan.
This is it, right? Like I'm not willing to say that Manchester are, but because didn't Manchester beat LJMU this week, or am I being an idiot? I'm fairly certain that they did. Yeah, Manchester beat LJMU 30-15.
Okay, they did play.
And MMU obviously could do something here. And this is one for you, Jamie. We got a comment on Instagram saying you get more Bucks points just for being in the Prem. So unis will take that even if they're losing. They gain more Bucks points than winning in the division below.
Again, I understand it. I get it. I get why they would say yes. I'll repeat myself.
I don't think you do.
No, I do. I understand why they would say yes. It's their attitude of like, yeah, we deserve to be here. We're so good, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, well, you don't. Like, I'm gonna. Nah, I can't, no, best of them. Like,
Okay. Okay, mate. I don't know. Okay, we're getting a message here, which we won't read out. In the southwestern. Okay, fine. Yeah, fair enough. Thank you for not. In the southwestern, again, it's not looking like it's anyone. There's
Just not
not
looking
enough
good in
games to.
general in that division. I'll be honest.
It's not. It's not. It's not. The you know, I really do think that Bournemouth have got it in the bag. I'm sure even the Bobcats will say that their first quarter on Friday would not look great. But Southampton beating Swansea and Bristol, basically I'd argue take Southampton out of it. But could we see Swansea going back down? They've only played one game and lost by 7. Bath are on a 2 game. I can't. Basically, Southwest 1, not a clue. Not a clue about the Southwest 1. We'll have to wait a few more weeks. In the Southern 1, it's looking like it is going to be the Reading Knights. As it stands right now, they're getting.
In their defence, they've had this really horrible start in the sense of the 3 teams that they played already are 3 teams that they've had to go in completely blind on. They played Brighton in week 1, then they played Brunel, who didn't have a game week 1, and then they played Oxford, who also didn't have a game in week 1 or 2. So they've gone in completely blind for all of their games. But I mean, it was only 6-2 with them and Brighton, so it's still, we don't know.
Exactly. Like I don't think Brighton are going to be able to sneak one past either Oxford, Hearts, or Brunel. So I think it is going to come down to that Brighton versus Reading rematch. But anyone else? No, I mean,
you've missed the Northern Division, and you might have done it
Oh!
on purpose.
no, I have done it on purpose because we're going to get into our previews. Because in the Midlands and Yorkshire 1, let's be completely honest, it's between the Coventry University Jets and the Hull Sharks.
Nope.
No, it is.
No, I think Leicester get dragged in.
Nah,
No, because they beat Hallam.
Leicester
Right.
are safe, mate.
Leicester are safe. You're waffling.
I honestly think that it's going to be a very, very turbulent division. And you were like, oh, Notts have won it. I don't think that's the case. I think it will be very peaks and troughs, and it will be a lot of shocks, and it'll be no one really with a winning record, and it'll be that division that someone gets in the playoffs and gets absolutely annihilated in the first round. And
I don't see it.
I do think it's
not in the first round.
Other than Leeds and Manchester. Last year, it's the same as the Sharks division with LJMU, Liverpool, and MMU, where it was very like anyone could really beat anyone, except Cov aren't going to beat anyone.
Well, let's get into it. We're going to move to the previews, and we're going to start off. There's a few pretty good games this week, but there's an all-time Uniball rundown dream match happening this Sunday. Coventry versus Hull. We dreamt about it years ago.
What would years in the making?
What would happen if these two teams played each other? And by God, we've got it. Coventry versus Hull. Hull have only played once, losing 44-0. Was that right?
Don't know. A lot.
A lot.
A lot to 0 is what I got told.
And the Coventry University Jets not winning their last 2, but keeping it pretty close against Notts Green and Leicester. For me, the momentum here is on the side of the Jets, which is strange to say.
When did Cobb last win?
Good. 1984.
No, it wasn't last year. It was the year before. I believe they upset Warwick once.
Good stuff there.
So they didn't win at all last year, and it's going to be an absolutely peak celebration. I forget what the nightclub's called in Coventry, but it's going to be a solid night out there, I imagine, come Sunday. But yeah, I can't
Do
see
you
it.
actually think that they're going to win?
Yes,
I
yeah.
do.
I'm not.
You've shit on them for 6 years straight.
Well, I've only been doing this 3, so no. Mate. Hull have played once and they got battered. Coventry have
In
got
the
more
fourth
experience.
quarter, as I explained, in the fourth quarter when they were on the third string quarterback and everyone got injured, like
They beat Staffs, yeah. Okay. They beat Staffs twice, but that wasn't last year, it was the year before. So it's been a while since Coventry have won a game. Yeah. No, yeah, I think Coventry will win. You can't run it that close with not screen like they did last week and not have something there.
I disagree.
Of course you disagree. Of course you were the president of the fucking Sharks. Of course
Got
you
nothing to
disagree.
do with that. It's got absolutely nothing to do with that.
This is awful. Well, I might make that one double points just because it's an absolute dream match. Absolute dream match. Then moving on to some other previews. There's a game which I think might wrap up a division fairly quickly. In the undefeated and currently unscored upon Kingston Cougars facing the Imperial Immortals. I think this will be for the Southeast 2, sorry.
It's a shame because I think both of them. I like
Hold
Kingston.
on a second. So sorry, Staffordshire. I just keep mugging off Staffordshire. I'm so sorry.
I think it will be good to see Kingston come back up. It's been so long. They've just been in the absolute dirt for a good few years, but it looks like
Yeah.
they finally got it turned around again.
Well, the thing is, though, is that because of the injury and the game not reaching its conclusion on Sunday, we can't really say anything about Imperial going in. It's going to be a big battle. I can't imagine that Kingston are going to leave that with an unblemished scoreline. But as it stands right now, Kingston, they're looking hot. They're looking hot, and I think the Southeast 2 could be wrapped up as early as Sunday. And if you're any other teams in the Southeast 2, grow up. In the Premiership South, Brum versus Exeter. I think it could be a good return game for the Demons following on from Sunday. But Brum have got
good
momentum.
idea to see where they stand. I think that's where you'll start to see where people in the division actually are.
I think the fervour of week 1 with the Cobras beating the Lions has sort of waned slightly. And now we can sort of get into proper Prem South football, you know. So moving on to the Midlands 2, and I'm sure Jamie will have something to say about this. Lincoln versus Derby. Derby putting a battering on ARU this weekend, but that game for me, I believe it was like something like 49-3, but they called it in the third.
Technically, that should be a walkover. But,
No, I believe they blew the whistle for they got it to count. Basically, is what I heard. Derby. I've got the wrong one. Derby 49, ARU 8.
So next weekend could either be the best weekend ever or the worst.
For you, mate, yeah.
Yeah. Where the Sharks win and Lincoln lose, or the Sharks win and Lincoln win.
No, you want the Jets to win. No, you don't want the Jets to win.
It's not happening. It's not happening. So I just won't acknowledge it.
Yeah, I mean, Cam's not here, but you know, I've made my feelings known the last few weeks. I love Lincoln, but I don't think they are going to be able to do it. This one's sort of just for me. Staffordshire versus Lancaster. I think I've had to. I think I've had to cash out on the Lancaster Bombers, and
yeah,
I think my like, let's say I put my entire house on it. I think I might only get my door back. You know, that's sort of how bad it's looking right now and how much I put on the Bombers. Staffs versus Lancaster, as it stands right now, is looking all stallions.
close one.
Could be a close one, like, but just Edge Hill 10-0. Obviously, that one went down to Q4, but all of these teams are going to be playing each other again, so it's not quite over for the Bombers, but there's definitely something to sort of take away from it. And last, but by no means least, the game that I will be at, actually 2 of the 3 parties actually in this particular call will be at Brunel. Jamie, you coming? You coming Brunel the weekend?
No.
Okay, so 2 out of the 3. Brunel versus Oxford.
I'm buzzing.
2 of the 3 big Southern 1 teams playing. Brunel obviously beating Hearts on Sunday. SJ, sell it. Sell the game.
I think I've said this is going to be the most exciting game I think that's been played at Site 5 in Donkeys. Last year, we had 3 games against them, 2-1 to them overall. Every single one of those games went down to the last drive. The playoff game went down to the last yard. I hope it is a good game. I'm obviously backing one team in particular, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited.
I tell you what, I'm looking forward to it
because watch it.
I'm very much looking forward to it. It's I've said to SJ, like, being able to stream a game that like Brunel versus Oxford I absolutely love it. Makes my loins tingle, ladies and gentlemen.
First time ever we're being streamed.
But it's going to be a great one. And we're pretty early on. We've only got picks to do. So
what's this question here? Prospects for KCL's season.
Hold on a second. We're actually going to open it up. We're going to have Q&A for a little bit. Q&A for 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Again.
Prospects for KCL's season following their win against UCL. I think there's a possibility. Obviously, they've only played their first game, but it's an impressive win against UCL, who did look impressive. KCL could really make an impact this year, I think anyway.
I think 4-4 is the minimum. I'm saying the minimum. It's definitely not the maximum. I think they can nick wins here and there. I think it's at least 4-4.
I think they could definitely nick a win off of UEA or Kent.
Mm-hmm.
So Jamie asking on Instagram, what do you think about Bafra not uploading a news flash? It's getting a bit annoying. If you want my opinion, I'm like 1 week I can understand. 1 week I can understand, but 2 weeks is a bit of a irritating.
We're coming up to a month. The last one uploaded was October the 17th.
Yeah.
Very easy breeding.
Opinions on Stags cheerleaders. I wasn't there. I don't know. Tebs, what's the most anticipated game of this season? Well, I mean, it'd be hard not to say it wasn't UE versus Gold in week 2, but I don't really know.
Game, though. That was a good game.
I don't know. I guess you'd have to sort of put it as UE versus Gold 2. But like anything in the in the southern one with Brunel, Hearts, or Oxford playing, I think is good. Obviously, I'm a big fan of UClan versus Northumbria. I think that could be a very anticipated one. Again, as much as we do joke around, but I think Coventry versus Hull for sort of more comedy reasons, I think that's going to be an interesting one. Just how much we've talked about it in the past. I think when it comes to the Div 2, I wouldn't say there's too many in the northern. Potentially Sheffield versus York. In the southern, I mean, I guess right now you could say OBU and Surrey, and southeast would be this weekend's Kingston Imperial. Southwest, there's not too much. I guess you can't really say much because Gloucestershire haven't played yet. But because they've made the playoffs the last 2 years, it's looking decent for them. So potentially them versus Bullets 2s or them versus Plymouth. But I'd say the most anticipated one we've got going forward is probably UE versus Gold 2 or 2 this year. Ops on opinions on Oxford Brooks? Yeah, we've already spoken about it.
Good team. Good win.
Tebs, can we count on you to returning to the game as a wide receiver, wide in all capitals? Depends what I'm running. If it's a screen and you're expecting negative 4 yards, then definitely. Well, I've got to catch it first. It's probably not. No wide receivers. Put this one on screen for us, Stu.
I'm not going to talk to him. Not having it. I do want to know where are the Hearts guys? They said they'd be on tonight.
That's quite funny.
Disappointed.
Opinions on Staffordshire Stallions. We've already spoken about it. I missed it. What do you think of Oxford Brooks? We've already spoken about it.
You missed the opinions on players you missed the opinions on players joining other unis group chats and asking for playbooks question.
Very funny. Very unible.
I respect it.
Very, very
How does
unible.
how does that even happen? How does that happen? How does that go unnoticed? How quickly
Well,
into group chats and not clearing
I'm
them out?
surprised I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often, if I'm completely honest, because of like you're not allowed to like get people's email accounts now. You have to like put up like a WhatsApp group for rookies to join. But then it's one of those things where it's just don't put the playbooks inside that chat. Move people on when you've actually met them. So it's very, very uniball. I mean, I wouldn't expect it to happen at the Div 1 level, but it did. It did. It wasn't.
It wasn't unnoticed.
Well, if it wasn't unnoticed, then why are we talking about it? Opinions on Sussex. I guess we are sort of sleeping on Sussex a bit. I mean,
we've forgotten about them, haven't we, a little bit? Even though they
have forgotten about them. They are a good team. I think it's just because I'm so sort of dead set on Surrey sort of having that division that I have just sort of overlooked Sussex. No, that is a good point. We will be better to the Sussex Saxons going forward. How about that? Apart from if they're playing this week, then it depends who they're playing. And we might pick against them. Are they playing this week? No, they're not. Opinions on Kuda's dirty tackling. I wasn't there. You can ask me about Exeter versus SGS. And I wasn't. NTU Renegades. NTU Renegades. UE tried to steal our playbook. Okay.
Hey?
That's what NTU said on Instagram. NTU being proper, just in the comments, they're just strange old squad. I
mean, to be fair, though, the old QB did think Coventry was London.
Yeah, that is very true. Good old. When am I going to do another degree? Give it 2 more years. Opinions on Midlands Yorkshire 1. We've already spoken about it. Opinions on the Exeter versus SGS game. Exeter, I think, are better than the scoreline suggested. I'll read that one in a second, Charlton. Yeah, I think Exeter are better than the scoreline suggested. They got down to the red zone a few times, but just couldn't punch it in, and there was a fumble as well. I think Exeter. I'm not ready to count out the Demons yet. SGS were obviously very impressive. From what I was talking about with Jordan, who was on commentary with me, he said like this is probably one of the better performances they've had this year, just in terms of mixing things up. So yeah, the opinion if I don't know what that means. Opinions on Brighton Panthers. I don't think they're going to do much.
That's just a bit mean. They've only played one. I've played 2.
Yeah, but they're not making the playoffs. There's too many good teams ahead of them in that div.
This is a valid question. Genuine opinion: should gold players be allowed to be played for green?
If it's inside the Bucks rule book, what's the problem?
So long as they've not played 4 games for the gold, it's all good.
This is it, right? This is it. Like it's, we're a show. We talk about Uniball, but that is fully a question for Bucks. And if Bucks have it as being legal, then it's fine because it's with it. Then it's within the rule book. It's within
that conversation's kind of where I'm along the lines of saying not to going to walk that league isn't the truth. Because, and I'm not saying that they've been going and putting gold players in the greens at the moment. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is there could come a point where they have game weeks at the same week and they have to take people to gold and they want to give them. And then that's where the losses start to come.
No, I think that there's this conspiracy that has been going around, specifically the Nottingham green and gold, for the last few years. And until someone provides me with an actual piece of evidence, then I'm not going to back it. Like, Nottingham Green are sometimes just good. Like,
People find it difficult to accept that there's two good teams at university.
yeah, it's like they do have good coaches. They do have a large population of that university that likes to play sport, and it's a big university. Sometimes Nottingham are just good, and you've just got to deal with it. And there's no other thing than they've just done well, and I think that's what it is. Tebs, will you continue to back the Stags after yesterday's performance? Yes, but not against Bournemouth. Ops on Chichester Spitfires. Do you think they'll get their first win?
First win, you can see that could be first win in the season, first win ever, first win this decade, first win this century. I would like to see Chichester win. It's been so long.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it? You know, it's not a conspiracy. Okay, well, send me evidence that it's not a conspiracy. Because people just saying it to me doesn't mean much to me.
But it's his thing. Like they said, if they're not breaking any regulations, all people can do.
This is it.
This is my issue with this sport. Is it's just full of people crying. There's so many people that
Like,
just cry, just don't look at themselves and go, well, "What can we do to be better?"
Here's the thing, right? It's
Truth
they've
hurts.
like if Green do that, they've done nothing wrong. It's not like DMU playing an ineligible player where that is wrong. It's the Green if they do it, have done nothing wrong. And the Gold, and the Gold as well, they've done nothing wrong. The entirety of Nottingham have done nothing wrong. Same as if the Bullets put players from the ones onto the twos. It's
Imagine
within
that QB in the twos.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. There's nothing wrong. Do you three not like Chichester Spitfires? It's not that we don't like them. It's just Chichester haven't really done much over the last few years.
10
There's
years.
not much to really talk about.
Just on your goal point, I think that you might have misunderstood what I was saying. I have no issue with any. I agree with what you're saying. I just think that who knows, there might be a week where all of Gold get the shits and they need to play the game or something like that, and they just draft people, and that's when I can see a loss happening for Notts. That's not me saying that the Notts Green aren't very good. They are, and that's a credit to them that they would be good enough to go and step up to the Gold. But that's just where I see that defeat could end up coming. I don't think it's as clear cut in that division that you're making out.
To who?
What do you mean?
Who are they going to lose to?
Whoever it's well, it depends.
Right,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, mate, but Hull and Coventry are out. They're not in.
I didn't mention Hull. I didn't say Hull.
It's a three-team league. It's a three-team league, and Green have already beaten Longhorns, and they've already beaten Hallam.
Who asked this question?
No, I agree that they are. I agree that in terms of their standard squad, they are probably the best in that division. I have no issue with what you're saying. I agree with you. What I'm saying is, if it comes to it, and then they have to end up taking players because they have a double game week, and they have to take players to the Gold because the Gold are short for whatever reason, and obviously Gold's going to get priority over the Green. That's when the loss comes for me. If half the squad's depleted,
but that has to fall within. Or wait, actually, Esther, you might know this better. Can the Green players be called up at any point, or do they have to play 4 games for the Green?
You can play up as much as you want, but once you've played over 50% of the games for one team, as in above, you can't go back down.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, fine, Jamie, I'll accept your point. I think it's nonsense, and I think you're talking rubbish. But
it's a very circumstantial idea, but it could happen.
Yeah. Staffordshire Stallions. Why hasn't anyone tried to steal our playbook? I don't know.
Put your group chat on on your Instagram, and people will join it.
Oh my days! Connor's commenting in the comments. Get Connor on. We'll talk about finances.
Let's see. No, there's no one else. I think it's just. Do you think Roe Holloway play this year? How well do you think they play after what just happened on Sunday? I can't imagine it's going to be great for them.
Yeah, I'm not. Unfortunately,
I tell you what. There's a lot of Bristol Barracuda popping up in this Instagram chat. I mean, I don't know what happened. I haven't watched the game back yet. I do tend to, but I was asleep all day because I want to watch the Dolphins later. Coach Connor says he loves you too. If that happened against Beckett, just send him to. Oh gosh, be good, wouldn't it?
That would answer the question, though, wouldn't it?
It would answer the question,
But
yeah.
which question did it answer?
Don't know. So we're going to get into our picks. We've had our Q&A time. We've got 10 minutes left. Unless there's some actually good questions that pop up.
You know
Any
what, fair
update
enough.
on
We've
City?
got some good questions. We have actually had some good questions this week.
Any update on City versus Imperial being replayed? No, but it seemed as though that in how they addressed it, that it would be that they're going to meet later on in the season. So I don't know. Watch Cuda D-line humble Bobcats. Don't know about that. Don't know about that one.
Unforeseen takes.
Yeah. Yeah, those are some thoughts on the Colonial season so far. It's been good, but like I've been saying since we started this year's show, Derby is still the favourites to win the division, and until they beat Derby, I'm going to keep saying that. So this weekend is going to, really put it on course. I think Lincoln will make the playoffs again, but I think Derby are far and away the favourites.
I'm on the Derby train until they finally
On
get
the Derby train. Who's the best Div 1 running back? That's a good question. I haven't seen all of them yet.
I can name 3 from my own team.
Yeah. The problem is, I know what they're saying. They're trying to gear me towards saying Lewis Munt for Bath, and I think Lewis is very good. So, but maybe
I watched the game on Friday, and he's a good back. It's just you can't in Division 1. You've got to have more. You can't survive off just having one player to rely on.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to get into our picks now. Thank you for all the questions. Apart from you, Jamie, stop asking.
Someone's just insulted someone by calling them a lanky, useless, no technique having dumbass.
No way. Where'd they say that?
I've seen some insults, but that.
Oh, that's bad. That's strong. Lots of bait emojis. We're going to get into it, but we're going to get into the picks now. So, starting off in the national. Actually, no, I'm not starting off the national. I need to prep my sheet of paper.
Is there any national games this week?
There's one. It's Durham versus Bullets at Durham.
Ooh.
So, starting off with, strangely, that game, Durham versus Bullets at Durham.
It's such a long way to go. What time is that kickoff?
I don't know yet. I don't know.
I'm going to go with Bullets. Let me have a look at the kickoff.
Yes, I will go with the Bullets.
Are you actually?
Yeah.
He's hopped off that Durham train very
quickly. He has, hasn't he?
I still think when they get to the playoffs, they can turn it around, but I don't think they're going to be very dominant throughout the regular season.
3 o'clock kickoff. They've been nice. They've been really nice, to be fair.
Yeah. So in the Northern Premiership, NTU versus Leeds. NTU were the last team to beat Leeds, if anyone's interested in that one.
Leeds.
Okay, Ben, mate. Ask a question. I didn't see it. Ask it now. Coward. Leeds, yeah.
What's Ben done to you?
Someone's crying in the Instagram chat. So I'm going to let him ask a question, but it depends what it is.
He put thoughts on scholars playing in varsity against unis in a lower division.
Varsity games, couldn't give a fuck. Couldn't give a fuck. Varsity games don't matter towards anything. They're just the unit. It's like the universities just really like them, and that's good. But in terms of,
they should have like alumni games. That'd be class.
They do. It's called Old Boys.
No, like as in alumni varsity.
Yeah, great. UE Bullets versus like Bristol Barracuda in an alumni varsity. Jadrian Clark just absolutely slaughtering these poor Barracuda players.
Jadrian Clark's not allowed in the country.
Awesome. Thank you for that, mate. After I asked you not to. This is immense.
Moving on.
Portsmouth versus Cardiff.
Portsmouth.
Sorry, that's really funny. That's really funny.
I'm going Cardiff.
Okay, I'm going Portsmouth. The Lions versus the Demons.
Lions.
No, Demons.
I'm going to go with Lions. I think they've got some momentum on their side. In the Scottish one, Aberdeen. Aberdeen was supposed to play UWS Pyros. Bless up. Never
I'm going to
forget.
go with Aberdeen.
Aberdeen. This will be a good one, actually. Glasgow versus Heriot Watts.
Glasgow.
Glasgow.
Nah.
Never going to back Dylan.
Heriot would have had their one win for the season. There you go. They're done.
No, I can't do it to him. I'm picking Heriot Watt. Manchester Metropolitan Eagles versus the Northumbria Mustangs.
Is this the under-over game?
Maybe, yeah. Do you want to do it for this one?
I'll go over.
Over-unders on a team that's just got promoted to Division 1. This sport is ridiculous.
Northumbria plus SJ.
Plus.
What's the line? We haven't even 39 and a half.
I was going to say 42 and a half.
There you go. Go for it. It's still over.
Okay. UClan versus LJMU. Do you want to do one for this as well?
I'll have the over.
Okay.
UClan with the over.
UClan plus. Now let's do it now. The Hull Sharks versus the Coventry University Jets. Coventry Jets.
Jamie's not speaking.
Hull.
SJ?
Coventry. Is there still people at Hull that are going to kill Jamie if he goes against them?
No, not really.
It could be. So, Jamie, you're the only one picking this one. Brunel versus Oxford.
Brunel.
Yay.
Southwestern 1, the Bath Killer Bees versus the Swansea Titans. I don't know about this one.
Give me Bath.
Swansea.
I'm tempted. I'm going to go with Swansea. In the Southeastern, the UEA Pirates and the UCL Emperors.
UEA.
UEA.
Yeah, okay. The KCL Regents versus the Kent Falcons. KCL.
Kent. What do you guys know that I don't? What? What's going
Nothing.
on?
I got nothing left. In Div 2, the Staffordshire Stallions versus the Lancaster Bombers.
Let's have it.
I'm going Lancaster.
You've put me in a difficult situation.
It's been a long 10 minutes, by the way, Jamie.
Yeah.
Lancaster. No, Staffordshire. Whatever. Lincoln versus Derby.
Derby.
The Royal Holloway Bears versus the Surrey Stingers. Surrey. Making the last team to make their seasonal debut. It is the Gloucestershire Gladiators, and they're playing the Worcester Royals.
Oh. Gloucestershire.
Worcester Royals to win by 1 point. 1 single point.
What a snake.
And I'm wearing the hoodie, the nice warm hoodie, Worcester Royals. The Bath Spa Bulldogs versus Aberystwyth.
I will go with the Taranai.
How about?
What do you have to think about that one, mate?
I don't know.
I was going to say that's a bit mad one to think about. And last but by no means least, the game that could decide at the Southeastern 2, the Imperial Immortals versus the Kingston Cougars. Got to go with the boy, Kingston.
Imperial.
Not a bad pick. You know what? If I could be in more than 2 places at once, or if I could be in 2 places at once, I would also stream Kingston Imperial. So, ladies and gentlemen, that has been.
It's that Imperial, so theoretically you could you could do that one then run over.
Let me talk to some people. I'll find out kickoff times and stuff like that.
I think it's not. Yeah, it's not doable.
Well, don't say it is then. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's been week 4. We will see you next week, probably around the same time. Thank you to SJ, thank you to Jamie. Sunday, we will be live streaming the Brunel Burners versus the Oxford Lancers and the Portsmouth Destroyers versus the Cardiff Cobras, I think. I think so anyway. But we're definitely doing Brunel Oxford, so come watch that game. It'll be a great one. I've been Tebs, and we will see you, on Sunday. Pay attention. The rankings will come out tomorrow. Shout to me about those.